board anymore because I am a powerful manifester, and I know that, and I know how to do it without physically putting it on a board. I know how. You know, you have to. You want to know how to do it?
Absolutely.
You have to meet the vibration. You can't be above or below it. It's just what I was talking about, negative energy, positive energy. In order to draw the thing to you that you want to come, you can't want it so much that you fear that you won't get it. You have to want it. So in order for me to be on your vision board, you must have put it there and then you let it go.
Yes.
And then you weren't thinking about it every day. Because you can't, it doesn't come to you that way. You have to do it, and then you have to put it, and then you have to meet that vibration. You have to prepare yourself to be there and ready when it shows up. And you were. Jaleesa, you were there.
What's up, everyone? My name is Walt. I'm the creator of Boss Locks and your host for today's show. Here at Boss Locks, we're creating spaces for Black people and helping the world become a more equitable place. And we do this through a number of different ways. But today we're going to do something a little different. You know, I want to hit that reset button for 2021. And I'm not saying, you know, we should just forget about everything that just happened, the National White Privilege Day and all that. But I think we do need to take a moment just to pause and think back to just take a quick assessment of where we are, how we're showing up, and where we want to be. So for the first official live Boss Locks event of 2021, I'm welcoming you all to join me and three of my close friends as we discuss living your healthiest life and how to make 2021 your year. Now, you know, I don't like to do these things by myself, but I'm very fortunate to have people close to me have been with me for a long time, for a shorter amount of time, but all in different impactful ways. And the first person I want to bring up is Harold. Harold, how you doing today, man?
Man, I am fantastic, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. You know, sometimes these things, like, you always think about doing them, but it wasn't until I really just like reach out to y'all, be like, yo, you want to do this? Then it became a real thing. So I definitely appreciate you hitting me back up.
Absolutely, boss. Absolutely. And an honor for you to even ask.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, before we introduce our next person, Harold, can you take a quick moment just to introduce yourself, tell everyone what you do?
Yeah. Well, I'm Harold Logan. I am the CEO of Be Great Guys. And what we do, man, we touch on mental, physical, spiritual strength from a holistic standpoint. And our avenue is through health and wellness. I am a personal trainer. I am a classical chef. And I take the health component with the nutrition and try to merge them together to where we understand that being in the gym and with my clients, we're in the gym all the time, but 80% of the battle is through nutrition and through eating. So with that, we touch on the mental strength of fighting those bad cravings when it comes to our nutrition and being able to be stronger in terms of being in the kitchen opposed to this being strong in the gym.
I love that. I love that. I love like you. Well, we'll actually speak on it a little bit more too, but I just love like the way, because you know, there's a lot of ways to be like a fitness coach and all that stuff. Like get in the gym and go. But you really create different methods of people to just live that physical, mental fitness life that kind of meets them. Like some people go in the gym, some people are kind of in the living room. We kind of have it for everyone. But
yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
Of course. All right. Now, next up to the stage, we have Steve Worthy. Steve, how you doing today, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. What's going on, Harold? You know,
what's going on, boss?
I'm hungry now because Harold's talking about chef,
right?
So I'm like, what you cook today, man? You know.
Oh man, I'll let you know. In a little bit. I'll definitely let you know.
Excellent. No, I'm excited to be here, man.
Thank you. Now, Steve, can you tell the people a little bit about what you do and who you are?
Yeah, I'm Steve Worthy. I'm CEO of Worthy Leadership Group. We're an executive coaching firm, and we focus in on Black and minority leaders, helping them along their leadership journey. And then I'm also host of the Worthy podcast, and we actually help within that podcast. We actually help leaders save time by learning more about themselves so that they can eventually accomplish something of significance. Just excited to be here and kind of talk about a couple of different topics with everybody as well tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Now, Steve, well, there's a couple of reasons why I brought each of you on today, but one of the reasons, Steve, I had to bring you on is because just our collaboration on Clubhouse, let alone everything else, man. I swear I would not have hosted anything on Clubhouse, probably not anything here until much later in the year. If we weren't already had that rhythm going, I was feeling more comfortable. I'm ready to host everything. So yeah, definitely appreciate you and love just the way you're able to interact and engage with everyone and share your wisdom, not like a condescending way either.
No,
But
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I thoroughly enjoy doing that podcast one-on-one with you, man, on Clubhouse. I think there's something different about working and hanging out. It's just really just we hanging out with somebody that you like, right? And it's organic, and the biggest thing is that people they ask a lot of questions, right? And I think that's always cool, man. When they start asking a lot of questions, that means that they're engaged. So it's always cool to hang out there with you, man.
That's right. Appreciate that. Now, speaking of hanging out, I want to shout out everyone listening, tuning in right now. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, one thing I just really want to let you know is that any comments you make, it has the ability to come up on the show. It doesn't mean that it will. So if you type of some wild stuff, it might not come up. But if you have a question, want to comment, I'm going to pull it up and we're going to address it, shout you out, all that good stuff. But I want to go ahead and get right into it, living your healthiest life. And I have that clip from Oprah in my mind, the Power Manifesto. I love that because I don't know about y'all, but vision board has always been a big part of my life. From my mom's side of the family to my dad's side of the family, we talk about the vision, having that strong, clear vision. And when she said, I don't even use vision boards anymore, I was like, oh, damn, Oprah, for real? And she's like, yeah, I just visualize that much. I'm a strong, powerful manifestor, man. So before we get started, I actually want to hear from each of you, how are y'all, or do you guys set New Year's resolutions, first off?
I don't. I don't anymore.
Your Power Manifesto too?
Yeah, I used to. I was a resolution dude. And then I realized, man, I wasn't accomplishing any of them, right? Because it was just a matter of you put it out there and you try to create accountability by telling everybody that you're going to do X, Y, and Z. But I think the manifestation aspect that she's talking about is the execution, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can talk about something, but I think it's a matter of executing it. So I've turned, instead of New Year's resolutions, to focus in on the execution of a goal or a plan, and then that way it's kind of manifesting itself, if you will. And I don't know if it's a resolution or not, but it's kind of how I think about things right now.
I feel that. How about you, Harold?
I completely agree with my man Steve, man. Be great, guys, and in our family, man. We've never been a New Year's resolution type guy. I don't preach that to my clients. I don't give that type of energy. I'm always the type of guy, to Steve's credit. If you plant a seed, if God doesn't do his part, that seed is not going to grow. So when you plant a seed, God does the part, and that's the action. And then, so if God doing his part, I'm going to do my part and put every action, every type of energy I can toward what I say out of my mouth. Because when I speak anything, if I don't put the action behind it, it's wasted words to me. You know what I'm saying? And this is no diss to anybody that has New Year's resolutions. It's just, I've been down that road before, and Walter, you know this about how we started when I was over 300 pounds, and I was coming off of another company where all we did was cook, and I had I was mentally unhealthy. And I would say all these things I want to do this, I want to lose the weight, I want to do this, but I would never put the action toward it. And it got to the point where once the action started to come in, I started to speak less because my action outweighed my words. So that's what we do when it comes to the thought of wanting to manifest something in our lives.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you brought that up because I really got to see that manifestation in action, man, when I first moved to Charlotte. And I guess Ian has as well, man. When I first moved to Charlotte, we were in the same apartment complex. You were going to the gym, and me and my dad were going to the gym and stuff too. And
shout out the Pop Walk, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But bro, it was crazy. Like I saw you working out and everything, and then just like months later, it seemed like months later, just like a whole new version, just ready to go. Like Harold coming through, like, yeah, that's right, I'm here. Like had all the muscles like pop, pop everywhere, yo. He like for real, Be Great Guys transformation, man. So like it was really cool to see that vision come to life, and it made it real, I think, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yo, Ian, shout out to you. Thanks for commenting. Yeah, man, everyone go check out Be Great Guys for sure.
Shout out to Ian, man. Thank you so much for being a part, bro.
Well, I like what you said, Harold, man. I wrote it down. You know, your actions outweighed your words, man.
Yes,
you know, and that's also like a little play on words, right? Because you're talking about losing weight and all that other stuff. So I caught that. I caught that. I wrote it down.
I was a poet in my other life, man. I used to write a little bit in my other life, man. But that's a long time ago.
He's a poet, and you know it. There you go. There you go. That's all I got. That's all the poetry I got. What I just said there. Hey, no, man, I appreciate that, man, because I think that's where, you know, I just had somebody on the podcast, and we were just talking about, you know, actually Walter listened to a little bit of it. We were just talking about getting stuff done. Like, just stop with the excuses, stop with all the hyperbole, all this other stuff. Like, yo, just get it done. Figure out how to get it done. And I think that's exactly what you did, man. You just like you were like, forget all the other stuff. Like, we just need to get it done. And I think more people need to kind of focus in on that as well too.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Absolutely. Now, Harold, speaking about vision in your past life, can you share a little bit? Because I really love that. Like you started off with this, then you ended up to Be Great Guys. Can you tell us a little bit about that business you had before Be Great Guys?
Oh man, yeah. So I owned a chocolate company called Carolina Chocolate Company, and what we did, I had two business partners. Shout out to both of them too, man. And what we did, we took an idea and we wanted to provide sweets for all of Charlotte. Charlotte didn't really have a lot of chocolate companies, especially what that looked like me. So the two that they had, both were cool brothers, but what they just weren't. They didn't look like me, if you know what I mean. So we started that, and funny story, when we started it, man, I didn't know how to make chocolate. I'm not a sweets guy. I went to Johnson & Wales, and I went to Johnson & Wales for culinary. I didn't go for baking. So when I got presented the idea, I told my business partner that moment that I have no idea how to make chocolate, man. So, I mean, and he said, if you want to be a part of it, this was my first taste of entrepreneurship. He said, if you want to be a part of it, I'm going to teach you the business part. I want you to learn how to create chocolate. And in 2012, I was so intrigued on entrepreneurship, but I didn't know how to get my foot in the door. So I was willing to get in any way I could. I didn't know what it was, but I was willing to get in. So that was my end. And it took about 6 months for me to really perfect my recipe. And we ordered, throughout that 6 months, man, I know we ordered over $2,000 worth of chocolate. And I burnt it all up. Every drop, every penny burnt up. But through those failures and through those lessons, I learned the recipe. I learned the recipe that got me and got us into 75 wholesale stores at the end when I sold it. So, I mean, you have to go through something to get something. And when I went through that, I could have easily said, man, this is too hard. I don't know if we can curse on here, but I was about to slip. So forgive me. I didn't know if it was
free. Feel free.
My man. I didn't know I didn't want to turn my back on something because I wasn't the star at my first try. You know what I mean? I had to go through it. I had to go through it and go through it and go through it and look at myself in the mirror and say that I'm not going to quit on myself. And that got me to Be Great Guys, because Be Great Guys came out of desperation. I had just sold that company. It was getting to a point where, like I said earlier, I was mentally unhealthy. My wife and I had just had our first boy, and I was coming off the road, and Ari, she called me and said, Levi was crawling. And I said, cool, I'll be home in a little bit. Give me a couple of hours, I'll be home. I got home, and I couldn't keep up with him crawling. Like I
Mhm.
literally could not keep up with it. He had so much energy, and I was trying to crawl around, but I was so mentally, physically drained. I was winded, and I looked at myself and I said I had to change my life. And from there, sold the company and had no idea what I was going to do next until a moment came about, and this Be Great Guys just hit my heart. And didn't know what Be Great Guys meant. Walter, you know this. Had no idea what that meant at all. I just knew it was something that I was going to put on a shirt for my wife and I, and we was going to tell each other, we're great. We can be great. Be great, guy. Be great. Be great. Be great. And it just started to manifest into this thing. You know, it's funny when you make something or when something happens, and when you just let it into the universe, it manifests into something, just like what Oprah said. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to her credit, I am nowhere near as smart or intelligent as her. So, but I'm just saying, it manifests into this thing, man, that started out of me wanting to be healthier for my son, and now I'm able to teach and train people how to mentally be stronger when it comes to accomplishing anything you want in this life, because you are your number one asset.
Yeah.
And when you think about it like that, you can take on anything you have ahead of you.
That's right. I love that. By the way, if y'all love that dose of motivation from Harold, you could definitely get that on his IG and his stories, man. He drops them like it's nothing. He's just out here every day, like, you know what? I'm gonna drop something for y'all. And every time it's fire, man. It's fire. You just express
Thank you so
yourself
much, man. I appreciate
very
it.
well. And also another person who I just love the way that they're expressing themselves. Someone who just joined us today, Nina. Alexis. Nina, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm good. I'm so glad to see you, Walt. So glad to meet you, Harold and Steve. Just happy to be here.
Yes, thank you for being here. Really excited to get into your topic, but real quick, can you share with everyone a little bit about what you do?
Yes, I love to. So I am Nina Alexis. I'm a digital design strategist, and I assist my clients with attracting their ideal target audience with branding and graphic design services. One of the things I call it an experience that I created last year is called Freeflow. Freeflow is a virtual paint night. At least that's how it's starting. And it's a way of expressing ourselves through painting, art, crafts. And it's for entrepreneurs and creatives alike. So
I like that.
Me too.
I love that too. Yeah,
I want to hear more about that for a second. I do want to hear more about that for a second. So, what do you hope people get out of that? Like as an entrepreneur, my fault. What I just
we going in. We going in.
And honestly, and I guess just to share my story, really quick. So I am a creative. I am a designer. So I do graphics every day, all day, for other people. You know, I love art. I love design. So I picked a career that I knew, you know, I could get up every morning and I can get out there and do it. You know, no problems.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, I started in a marketing department in one of those, you know, big Fortune 500 companies, doing it. I'm doing it, right? Like I'm here, I made it, I'm using my degree, and not realizing that every day, you know, I was dying a little inside, and not understanding why. That was the biggest thing. And so finally, some situations happened, and I was able to do kind of quit my job, quit the corporate 9 to 5, and start my own design agency. So I was doing that, and it was good for like, you know, a year. And then I was like, this is not what I thought this was. Entrepreneurship is not exactly what am I the right person for this? I don't know. Because, you know, I'm a creative, like I like to focus on that part, you know, like being the admin, doing the CEO's like stuff, like that's wow. This is a little harder than I thought. Of course, I, you know, persevering, but not realizing that too. Coming off of that corporate position, to be quite freaking honest, I was depressed, completely clinically, all of that. Like, wouldn't get out of bed most days, depressed. And I was like, what is going on with me? What is it? What is it? And so finally, I sought out help, talked to a therapist. And one of the things that they suggested was, well, what are you doing for you? And I'm like, what? Do it for who? Me? What are you even talking about? Yeah. What do you do that make you feel good? What makes you happy? Because you work and do stuff for some people every day, right? You're always making other people happy. With what you're doing, but what do you do for yourself? And it was there right there. And I was like, I do absolutely nothing for myself. Other than, getting up in the morning, making sure I look good, and I eat. But that's not it. Like there's a little bit more to it. And so I decided at that moment to go back to my roots, right? Like I used to paint, I used to draw, I used to love doing that. And so that's where Freeflow came back in. I, started doing more paint and sips. COVID happened and I was like, dang, I can't go back to my paint and sips. So I created one for myself. And that's what that is. It's just an outlet for me to get back to being my creative self, to loving life again, loving what I'm doing, and then wanting to share this with other entrepreneurs and creatives, because we need these creative outlets. We need it for our mental health, for our prosperity, because if we don't feel good, we ain't making money, right? Like you're not wanting to get out of bed, right? So that is right there is the key for me.
Good. I love painting sips.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, I do too.
Nina, your paint and sip was the very first one I ever went to, and you set the bar high. And it was virtual too. So like, I don't even know if I should go to any others, but like on a real note, that was really cool because like, I don't even remember what all was going on that week. I think it was September or October, but like when it was time to experience that paint night, I was kind of just like taken into a whole nother realm, even though I was in my living room watching you on my computer, me and my girlfriend. Like, it was like a whole nother experience. And I got to paint something I hadn't really done since I was like in school, like not even school, but elementary school. By the way, I actually got to sell a piece. I sold a piece for $1. So I am
last week.
At the time doesn't matter.
You're talking about elementary school.
It happened, yeah. Had to split the dollar too, but hey, I was profitable.
Hey man, it's all good, bro. So you sold something.
Right. That's right. All right. Now we're gonna dive back into the paint nuts in a little bit, but Steve, I want to here's what we'll do actually. Nina, you mentioned something that I thought was kind of interesting. It reminded me of something I experienced most of my life. I came to a realization what it was in 2019. It's part of why I wanted to bring Steve up, and it's something called Imposter Syndrome. And it's something that I didn't know existed until I saw an interview on The Breakfast Club where Wale was talking about it. And when he said it, it just started clicking. I was like, those symptoms kind of sound familiar to me, just kind of feeling as though you're not enough to achieve this or get this, or this praise you're getting is kind of false and not applicable, or some feeling like, you just gotta hope no one ever finds out you're a fraud or whatever. And I thought that was interesting because I think a lot of people in entrepreneurship and just regular day life experience some forms of this, but don't necessarily know it. I just try to go about their day hiding it and everything. But one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on, Steve, is because you not only spoke about it on your show, but it's kind of what you do in your the services you provide as an executive coach, is helping people get not necessarily through it, but learn more about what it is and how to manage it. So, Steve, can you share a little bit about what you do first, and then talk about like what is this thing called imposter syndrome?
Yeah, it's thank you, man. We're the leadership group actually kind of started as another company when I lived in Atlanta. It was Worthy Business Solutions. Our church actually had a entrepreneur class, and so if you wanted to start a business, myself and a couple other dudes, like we would teach the class and kind of help you through that. And then what kind of came from that was a lot of people in our pretty big church had businesses, were thinking about starting businesses, and they wanted something outside of that class. And so I started like this little 6 a.m. in the morning on Saturday mornings at a coffee shop, and just had like 4 people, like I think at the very first one. And we're talking about business, and they're throwing out their ideas, and we're just kind of going through it, having like a little round table, and I'm just facilitating the process to it growing and growing and growing. And I was like, you know how that goes. You're like, you're doing something you love, and you're like, well, shoot, I can make some money off of this.
Yes,
I can turn this into a business. And so that's what I started doing. I started doing business consulting for entrepreneurs and things along that lines. And then my buddy and I, we actually started it was on Blog Talk Radio. At the end of the day, it was a podcast back in the day. And we did it. It was called For Husbands by Husbands. And we helped entrepreneurial husbands kind of balance between being a husband and being an entrepreneur. And I completely stole FUBU. I don't care. For you by you, I completely stole it. Like For Husbands by Husbands. And I think he caught it like near the tail end. He was like, hold on for a second. That sounds familiar. I said, yeah, I stole it. I completely took that one. But we did that. It was inspired by
There you go.
Inspired by FUBU. And then it transformed into, something else, which was really cool. But then as what happens, right? You start making more money in your real job, right? And the trappings of the money and all this other stuff pulls you away sometimes from your passion. And so Worthy Business Solutions kind of pushed by the wayside, moved up the ladder as a retail executive, yada, yada, yada. And then I was still always helping people, from a business and coaching standpoint. And then Worthy Business Solutions kind of came about. Same buddy of mine, reached out and said, hey, you need to start a podcast. So I started a podcast. It took me 2 years because I was dealing with imposter syndrome, because I didn't feel like I had enough. And I'll talk about that here in a second too. I didn't feel like nobody wanted to hear what I had to say, but I started it. It's actually been going really well. The imposter syndrome, really, at the end of the day, it's built around the lack of self-acceptance, low self-esteem. Whenever you get to a certain point within your life, you feel that you don't deserve it. I'll give you a couple of great examples. Maya Angelou, quote from Maya Angelou, she was like, I've written over 11 books, and every time I feel like they're going to find me out. This is Maya Angelou. She shaped literature, right? Albert Einstein, he called himself an involuntary swindler in the context of like, is it really what I did in E equals MC squared? Is that really such a big of a deal to, get all these accolades that I need? There's this acceptance or this lack of acceptance of who you are and what you've actually accomplished. And so by doing that, you start to create masks. You start to create these veneers that you have to kind of continue to uphold within your career. And the higher you go, the worse it truly becomes from an imposter syndrome standpoint, because you are consistently having to trying to live up to that next layer. And it is massively, massively bigger in the black and brown community, because we have so many other things that we're dealing with already, right? We're already black. Now we got to deal with trying to continue to fit in. And, the higher you go, the less of you there are. So guess what you start to do? You start to conform. You start to create these personas and all these other things that allow you to fit in. And you continue to do that, and all the while knowing you are not yourself. You are not who you are. And so for me, when I help clients, is really breaking down the idea about being of an imposter syndrome, about truly understanding who you are, your faults and all. Because the more you know about yourself, the better you are, the more authentic you can lead. And so imposter syndrome, it doesn't go away. It's always going to kind of be there a little bit. It's just a matter of trying to manage your expectations and understand really who you are. Because once again, the more you understand who you are as a person and your authentic self, the easier it is to combat and kind of see it for what it is and see it coming as well.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, I'm glad you shared that
That's
because I think,
amazing.
yeah,
That's
they
absolutely amazing.
being able to like acknowledge what imposter syndrome is, I feel it's the first step because then you understand like, okay, that's kind of what's happening, and then like you can start to see it unfold in different spaces as well. So I love that. Harold, I'm kind of curious. So, and well, to quick reset the room for everyone watching, thank you all for joining us. We're out here speaking about living your healthiest life. And I personally am a big fan of talking about things from a mental health perspective and expressing yourself and also doing everything you can so that these New Year's resolutions, manifestations, whatever you call them, can actually be achieved. Now, one thing, people around this time, a lot of people are signing for gym memberships and everything like that. And we kind of look at what we want to become. And rarely do people actually get there. But I think that's part of, I think it can tie into imposter syndrome and a couple other things as well. So, Harold, I'm kind of curious when you're working with some of your clients, people in your community, and just the support you're giving on like social media and things like that. Like, how do you encourage people and like help people continue to move forward and just kind of be comfortable with kind of where they are in the whole process, all in all?
Well, it means a lot to me that I went through what I preach about, what I talk to my clients about. I went through that. I know how it is to go into your kitchen and be intimidated because you don't think you have the strength to make a healthy choice because what you have in the kitchen is calling your name. I understand that. And then when you eat it, you feel like crap afterwards mentally because you felt like you failed. When you want to live a healthy journey, when you want to do something better in your life, you have these tests and these opportunities each and every day to either go left or right. And if you go left, you're going in the right direction. But if you go right, sometimes you take that L and then you look at yourself in the mirror and you really feel like crap. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to say it. And I've been down that path before. I literally know how that feels. So when I train my clients, we have mental resets where from time to time when we're going through our health journey, we have a week where we just reset the mind and we continue to train the mind where we say, okay, well, I know we're getting skinnier, we're getting healthier, we're loving the way we look, but how do we feel inside? Because you can look this way, but feel completely different within. So when it comes to mental health for me, I take that with more importance than physical, because when your mind is on board, the rest of your body will follow. So it's an unorthodox approach that we created with Be Great Guys, especially when COVID happened. Because when COVID happened, I completely went 100% virtual for all of my clients, and I lost 99% of my clients from that. But I'm able to speak on a different level when it comes to, okay, you don't feel comfortable going into the gym right now. You don't want to wear a mask going into the gym. You don't want to be around anybody right now. How can you keep that same level of motivation that you had with going to the gym in your own living room? And when that started to happen and manifest into our company, we saw such a shift when it came to the mental capacity of strength. Because to have that motivation to wake up, put your clothes on, and just go to the living room or go to a room you have designated for your area to work out, that's huge. That's absolutely huge, man, because you're not going into the gym. You don't have other people feeding. You're not feeding off that energy from other people. And you're not around weights. You have to really have your imagination to create a workspace for yourself. So that has definitely been a situation where we have taken that mindset and that mental strength and we attacked it head on, man. And it's been such a rewarding experience to see the same level of success from a client, especially when it comes to their nutrition in their own home, being able to call me and say, hey, I just did 100 push-ups on the kitchen counter. Like those little things that I hear, you know what I'm saying? That's huge because I didn't used to hear that. I used to always go to gym. There's no diss to a gym now. It's just that when you have something happen in your life, and especially when a wave comes, you have to either ride it or you can fall off. And in our life, we just had to ride it, and it just led into a different direction. So all of our clients are 100% virtual, man. So as long as you have internet or phone, you can get this Be Great Guys work.
So you saying that? So are you saying that I can't have my 8 o'clock at night bowl of cereal?
Yeah, you can, but as long as it's whole grain, or as long as it's
I'm definitely guilty of those late night snacks.
It's all about moderation. That's my number one concern for my clients. It's all about moderation. You can enjoy.
I'm gonna do push-ups while I'm on the counter while I'm eating the bowl of cereal.
Should we do like a
there you go
right now?
There you go. Compound it. That's what I'm talking about. Good work. I love it. But yeah, man, it's about moderation. We all love to eat the way we love to eat. But when it comes to our health, we have to know that we have to live in a moderate space. Like we can have the food that we enjoy having, but we still need to start incorporating those foods that will continue to sustain our life longer, continue to have our heart beating healthier, continue to have blood flow through our bodies healthier, and still have that food, but learn how to eat. My clients, when I retrain, because I had to retrain myself on how to eat. So my clients, I retrain us on how to eat, and that isn't punishment. When you understand it, you know that, oh man, I can eat this workout and still lose weight, still feel good inside. But as long as I'm not overindulging or eating out of moderation, then I'm cool. I'm okay.
I love that. As you were speaking, I was reminded of a moment in college when it was like after I retired from playing college soccer, and I realized like, oh wow, soccer has been what's keeping me in shape. Like I can't just like walk around doing whatever.
Yeah.
I should have kept. Oh yeah, I would have, but other circumstances. But one moment I will never forget is when I was in the gym and my friend Chris Bennett, shout out to you if you're listening. But I was doing some back workout machine thing, pulling it and all this stuff. I felt like I was doing good. I was like, I was struggling and everything. I felt it was a good size weight and everything. Nothing impressive, but it worked for me. And he came over, he kind of looked at me. He's like, put a little more on there. It's like, man, I'm out here struggling already. Like, put a little more. And I put on some more. And I was able to pull the same amount with the same amount of effort. So it was like, it's kind of crazy. It always stuck with me because that was like a real life lesson of how like sometimes our mind really works to kind of, I don't know why it is, but our mind really kind of, it's almost like a defense mechanism maybe, but it keeps us from being able to do all that we can do. And it just reminds me of imposter syndrome and all these other things, like just the ability that, or just it made me realize that we do have the ability to do a little bit more, even though we may not realize it. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of what you do through your fitness and everything, just help people kind of get to that next step at their pace and everything.
Absolutely.
But
I appreciate that.
Yeah, but Nina, I'm kind of curious I want to bring it over to you and kind of hear about from the Freeflow perspective, because like I mentioned before, like during it, I kind of felt like I was kind of taken to this other place, and afterwards I felt kind of free for a moment. And no play on words, but yeah, it was really nice. Like afterwards, I just like was just in a calm. I didn't feel like I was rushing or anything like that. And I'm kind of curious to hear whether it's from how you feel after doing these or what you've heard from other people. Like what is the importance of really just stopping whatever you're doing to do something like painting?
Yeah, for sure. Like, honestly, we spend a lot of our times, and I can only speak from, being an entrepreneur, being someone who works for myself. We spend a lot of time kind of just rushing around trying to get things done right? You know, checking emails, doing meetings, doing Zooms, doing Clubhouse. Like, we're busy. Like, we're filling every minute, every second with something, you know, trying to be productive, right? And there's nothing really wrong with that. However, we do have to remember and remind ourselves that it's okay to kind of slow down. Honestly, my best friend, she is a great example of someone who has learned to slow it down. And I'm always thinking to myself, like, we need to go. We got to do it. We got to do this. We got to do that. And she's like, yeah, we'll get there. And I'm like, no, it's like, it's time. The time says, you know, and she's like, yeah, we'll get there. Like, when we get there is when we get there. And just like spending time with her and realizing, like I said, having that moment of chilling out for a minute, taking the time to breathe, just breathe. Meditation is such a key point, and also part of the Freeflow experience. Actually, the episode or the time that Walt did join us, I had a guru kind of come and do like a guided meditation for everyone right before we started the actual painting. And so, like I said, it was just a great time to unwind, slow down, refocus, think about what being in the moment, being present, not having anxiety, not worrying about anything, just being right here, and like really living right now. That is what everyone, I mean, every single person who's joined me on this experience, they said, oh my God, I needed this. I didn't realize it, you know, I didn't know it at the time or before, but now after having this experience, yeah, this is what I needed to help me kind of move forward and kind of just like it rejuvenates you so that you can tackle some of the tasks that you have and stuff.
You know, Nina, it's that's awesome. Because I love what you said. You know, because as entrepreneurs and leaders, we go from result to result, you know, project to project.
That's it.
Opportunity to opportunity, and we don't talk about, you know, that space in between. And I think, to your point, like, that space in between is like that moment of like, how do you kind of take a rest, you know, if you will, to kind of give your opportunity to kind of heal mentally and physically, then to, you know, to kind of, you know, talk about what Harold's doing and what you're doing mentally and physically. I was listening to an article or a story. It's like, it was last year, and I actually implemented it into my podcast. It was a rugby coach. It was a high school rugby coach. He's won 870 matches and only lost 10. High school, and he was being interviewed, and the guy was like, "Well, what do you do? How do you do it?" He said, "Well, all we do is win." And I thought he was like, man, someone like, you know, DJ Khaled or something. He's like, no. He was like, no, like, it's a mentality. He said, win is an acronym for what's important now. And so he said, everybody on that field is focused on what's important now. And to Nina's point around, like, how do you kind of like, and just to kind of use it from a sports analogy to like, you know, as a leader, like, if you can center yourself and like understand what's important now, you can kind of move forward. And I actually, you know, Walt, I didn't do this with you because I just did it with you know, just started doing it, but I would have loved. No, man, I would have loved to do this to do the segment with you with the show, but I started doing it with my current guests. Like, we focus in on, like, at that near the end, like, what's important now, and they start talking about like what's important now. Man, someone start breaking out crying. Someone start talking about like family, you know, their kids, you know what I mean? And that's that's like the richness, like what Nina's talking about. I'm just like, I know I'm taking it to this other extreme, but I think that's the piece that a lot of times we forget, man, is that like space in between. But like, what's important now?
And the why we're doing what we're doing, right? Like,
absolutely,
we're doing this, to, you know, make money. I mean, that's one thing, but no, we're doing it for our families. You know, we're doing it for, you know, people that we care about, making sure that we can take care of them. And you got to take care of yourself first, though, and that is what I learned. With this experience and just being, being an employee, being even entrepreneur. Take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of everybody else.
So before we go, I just want to say, make sure you let me know when your next one.
Please.
Is right there.
He beat me too.
I think I Harold too, right?
I was itching to get on. I was like, yo, I want to know. We got to find out.
Do I need to wear like a toga? Do I need to wear like a toga?
You do.
Or something like that, like the little,
if that's yeah, of course. But actually, yeah. So
I'm excited.
The URL is actually New Year freeflow.eventbrite.com. And it's going to be January 28th at 7.
Got it.
Yes. New Year
Freeflow.
New Year Freeflow.
Eventbrite.com.
At 7 p.m.
7, yes.
All right. Okay. Anyway, back to you, Walter.
Back to me. Oh, I was busy trying to type, make sure I spelled Freeflow correctly.
I was doing that. I was doing the same thing.
Man. All right. So that really just flowed really perfectly. And I really love that acronym now. What's important now as well.
Don't bite it. Don't bite.
It's already bitten. I don't know.
It's already bitten, man.
Hey.
You been FUBU. You been FUBU. You been.
I'm telling you.
Inspired by
FUBU. Inspired by C.
We're all inspired by each other, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it, man.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing I want to ask each of you guys is to kind of flip it on each of y'all, your own personal journeys. It could be career as well, but kind of like what kind of Ian was saying, manifesting into a lifestyle and positive entity, and everyone else as well. I'm just curious, like, what are y'all manifesting? What's important now? And I'm gonna start with Nina. What's important now? What are you manifesting? How are you a power manifester?
So I know we had mentioned before vision boards, right? And so actually I just had a vision board party with some girlfriends. And the thing that I'm manifesting for this year, we know people use like this one word for the year, right? And so my word for the year is shine. But not only am I going to shine, I'm going to choose to shine. I have been, you could say, like, I help build brands, right? I do all the visuals, I create things for other people, and it's great and wonderful. I love my job. However, I'm in the background for the most part, right? I'm helping pushing others forward, and so this year, with the help of some of my friends, I am going to choose to shine and be in the forefront, like put my face out there, right? And so this is scary for me. This is new for me. This is awesome for me. But choosing to do so, making that decision, walking in my gifts, and then sharing it with others. That is what we're supposed to be doing here. That's our purpose on this planet, right? And so that's it. I'm going to choose to do what I've been put here to do.
I love that. I love that. Also, everyone watching, feel free to put your manifestations, like what's important now, in the comments. That win statement. I think everyone's taking it. So we'll give you a little shout out. But also, Nina, I don't know, it could work for you. You could try it out. But you could be like, I'm Nina Alexis. The S stands for shine. I don't know. Just test it out. See if that works.
She's choosing. Like that's the part that I gravitated to. Like she's, you can say all the words you want, right for the year, but like she's choosing to shine. Like that's
absolutely
that's that execution and action that we were talking about, Harold, right? That's And every time I hear Nina, I always hear because my brother turned me on to jazz as a kid, and I hated it because I would always tell him to play Run DMC, and he would just like play all this jazz for me. And then, as you can see right there, they got a big picture of like John Coltrane, and I just love jazz to this day. But I always think about whenever I hear the name Nina Simone, and I think I saw a ticker that said Nina Simone. Did I see the ticker that said Nina Simone or something like that too?
Well, my last name is Simmons, but
Simmons.
I get it all day.
I thought I saw Nina Simone. I did Simmons.
I
You know, it was so close for a second. I was
did.
like, hold on, did I catch Simone? Because when I was first typing it out, I was like, Nina Simone, because it's from this other thing.
Simmons.
Yeah,
all right.
you're not alone. You're not alone.
Not at all.
All right. So, Steve, what's important to you right now? What are you manifesting?
Don't hold back, man. Don't hold back. I think, I think honestly, the last 2 years, I've as much progress as I have made with Worthy Leadership Group and also with the Worthy podcast, I still feel like I've held back. I don't think I've let I don't think I almost feel like, I'm sorry, I watch a lot of movies. I'm a Marvels, and I'm an X-Man, and I'm a I'm all of that, right? And that one movie when it was, I think it's the X-Men Apocalypse. I don't know if you guys are feeling that or not, but when what's her name, Jean Grey, was holding back about being the Phoenix, and Professor X was like, Jean, let go, let go. Like once she let go, like she was walking in the air, and then she just kind of let go. And I feel like I have held on to a lot of stuff that's inside of me. I don't know, greatness and whatever you want to call it. I don't think I've allowed it to truly manifest itself. And so for me, it's this year. It's not this year. It is truly, don't hold back, Steve. There's just so much that you can share. And here's the thing: when I kind of declare that in my head, it's a matter of I had so much to share. I don't know what the hell what to choose first. Right. And I think a lot of us who are creative folks or whatever, and leaders for a while, you have to kind of pick. I'm like, holy crap. I'm just trying to not hold back, man, and just let everything that's inside of me out, man, and just let it go, man, because I feel like I've helped my clients too, but I don't feel like I've helped them like I'm going to help them this year. This year is going to be completely, and this is not well, next year it's going to be completely different too, you know what I mean, that whole mindset. No, this is continuously operating, I think Nina said, operating in your gifts, right? Continuously. How do you continue to do that and continue to grow? So for me, it's a matter of not holding back. I'm glad you asked that question, man, because it's it just sparks something inside of me. And Nina and Harold sparks something inside of me too. I thank you, Walter, for asking me to be a part of this. So
absolutely, man.
I mean, I know we're not done yet.
Yeah, we're about to close out.
We'll start flicking the lights.
Close the curtain.
We'll start flicking the lights, man. But anyway, it's been good stuff. It's been good.
All right, Harold, what's important to you now, and what are you manifesting?
Basically, to know that I'm enough, and to know that I have everything in me to acquire anything I want in this life, and not second guess my gift. What Steve pointed out in his entire, Nina said this as well, but how the imposter syndrome, I felt like I've been living that for 36 years of my life, man, just to be honest. And to go from one company to another company. And when I started Be Great Guys, for 2 years, I was called the chocolate guy. Oh man, how you teaching us how to lose weight, and all you sold us was carbs for 5 years? You know what I'm saying? So I took that, and then internally, it messed me up inside. And to the point where recently, a few years ago, that I had to intentionally tell myself that I'm enough. I had to affirm myself, edify every single day. I'm enough. I am not here for no reason. I am here for a reason, and I'm going to intentionally plant my feet. And whoever I come across, I'm going to let them know that they are just as important as I feel about myself each and every day. And it's not a sense of being conceited. It's just a sense of being confident and knowing that what Nina said, operating in your gifts. It's not about being somebody. It's not about being better than somebody else. I'm not trying to be the best personal trainer or be a better personal trainer or health coach or weight loss coach than somebody else. I'm trying to be the best I can and serve the best information and knowledge to my client base and to whoever come across my path. It's not about trying to acquire other people. It's about being true to me. And when I learned that, the anxiety started to go away. The confidence started to take over from where the anxiety lives. And that angst of just always having something to do because I feel like I'm not doing enough, to Nina's point. I was always going and going and going and going to where my wife told me, well, just sit down. Kid is asking, your kid is right here wanting to play football with you.
Yeah.
Just sit down. You're providing a life for us, and we're providing a life for our children.
Right.
And you can take a moment to know your why. And what's your why? My why is my family. That's the reason I started Be Great Guys, because of my son. So that really just hit home with me, man. And just knowing that breathing, you have to breathe, like what Nina was talking about. You have to breathe and just understand why we're doing this, why we're not choosing to work a cozy 9-to-5 job and make X amount of dollars with benefits, with health insurance, with IRA, with all of that. Why we're not choosing that, and we're choosing this life where if we don't hunt, we don't eat. If we get up and we don't do anything and we call ourselves entrepreneurs, but if we're not going out and hunting, I'm not gonna have anything to bring my family to eat. So this lifestyle is not sexy at all. Only 1% is sexy, and the 1% is sexy is what you put on Instagram. But the 99% of it, that shit is hard as hell, man. And it's like, it's unsexy. It's not what people want to see, and that's why people don't show it. They show after pictures. They don't show the in between picture. They show the picture where they're big, and they show the picture where they lost 150 pounds. But they don't show that grinding year in between. You don't see that, and that's what I want to change within Be Great Guys. It's all about the journey, and every client that comes across my path, you will know that you will enjoy the journey just as much, if not more, than the destination.
Yeah.
So I want everybody to know that we are enough.
Dude, the two, I don't know, like there's a whole bunch of things, and I know that everybody's listening. But and this is not the plug, but my episode about imposter syndrome, the byline or the subtitle is I and you are enough.
Absolutely.
It's imposter syndrome. You are enough. And I was like, because I got that. Once again, I don't care. I guess I do bite a lot. I don't care. But it was a clip. It was a clip from.
You're funny.
It was a clip from Michelle Obama that I actually play at the very beginning, and she's talking about imposter syndrome, and she talks about keep going. You know, she's going this. She's like, she had to realize that she was enough, and that she was enough in who she was, and you know, she's you know all these accolades that she's like achieved, and she still was dealing with. I mean, you were the first Black first lady. And you know, she was still dealing with imposter syndrome until she realized she understood that, hey, I am enough. So I named it I named it that or the subtitle, and then you know, dude, you just dropped a whole bunch of stuff, dude, man. That's just crazy.
Well, thank you, man.
That's just crazy, man. I'm sorry, Walt. Like I gotta you know, I gotta respect, man. I gotta like, you know. I got respect when I hear something that's just, you know, and if you don't hunt, you don't eat.
Yeah.
Unless
You
you go to
don't
the
hunt.
grocery store.
See, Walt, you just messed up the whole.
Oh man,
My bad.
Grocery store.
it's all good, man. I get what you're saying. Though. It's all good. Oh man.
Well,
Good stuff.
Steve, to
Good
make it up, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to ask me, well, what's important now?
Hey, you know what? I had this epiphany, this thought. Anyway, what? I mean, man, there's, we've had so many conversations, I think, like you've had with everybody here, right? And but right now, like what's important? What's important to you right now, man? Because I know you gotta. Oh Lord, did you just act like? Did you just? Did he just act like? Like I was
ready.
What?
Oh gosh,
I'm shocked you even asked me.
Collect my thoughts. Well,
wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready.
Hercules.
Oh man.
Well, you know what's funny? As each of you guys were speaking, I was like, I like that. Oh, that's really cool. From Nina to Shining this year. Steve, don't hold back. Harold, I am enough. I love it all. So you know what? I have actually several things. I know I have one for each of y'all, but I have several things. Because it all affects me differently, and it definitely represents a different part of me. Nina, I definitely feel you on the Shining, because I think that for a lot of people, creators who support other people, we kind of find comfort in letting other people get that shine. But this year, I definitely want to put myself out there even more, not only for what it means for me, just from the imposter syndrome and all that, but also I think it just helped to grow everything else that I'm doing. And so, yeah, in addition to that, not holding back, going all out. And it's funny, Harold, you mentioned like I am enough, because I actually wrote that down, I think, a few months ago when I was like trying to think like, okay, I need someone else to do stuff and all these things. And it's actually, I think, partly because of a conversation with Steve talking about imposter syndrome, I realized, actually I can do this and that.
Yeah.
And I am enough. So I loved all of that. And I have a few more things to say, but I want to shout out, I don't know if you're listening, but Dominic King, aka Rooster, who came on my show in episode 29. And the episode is called Creating Leverage, because we basically spoke about the work and the time it takes to get to that LeBron James level wherever you are. So my thing is creating leverage. This next era is me focusing on putting all the pieces in place so that I can build upon it. And some of those ways are through things like support systems. And part of the reason why I brought all of you guys here today is because I think each of you guys represent a way to help people to reach whatever they're trying to manifest. Because I think that for a lot of things like New Year's resolutions and all these other things, we always think about it like, I got to do this, but we don't think about that support system. So that's part of what I want to do, is build that support system by showcasing more resources, people like Harold, Steve, Nina, like guys creating these wonderful platforms, opportunities, and experiences to help people grow. And also, just a quick plug, another resource / support system I'm starting at the end of each month. The last day of February is going to be known as Buy Black Friday. We're going to encourage everyone to buy Black on that day. For all of you watching and listening, y'all hearing it first. Buy Black Friday, last Friday of each and every month. We're going to share resources and places for you to buy Black. It doesn't have to be a lot, just integrating it into your life, because I think that part of growing as individual and also community is doing more to support others as well. So yes, that my final thing is creating leverage in addition to all the other things that I'm stealing from y'all as well. And definitely thank you guys for joining. Real quick, I want you guys to plug what you got. How can people find you, support you, all that good stuff?
I stopped listening to LeBron James.
LeBron, hold on.
What did you say? You should have said Michael Jordan, but I'm just saying. I'm of a different era. My bad. Dude, who has the number one selling like sneaker? Is it LeBron James? I digress.
Who's selling out arenas right now?
I digress.
No disrespect to Michael Jordan. That is forever the GOAT.
Walter and I have gone back and forth on that whole thing since we met, like since day one. So my apologies.
Nina, how can people find you to become the LeBron James of themselves?
Dude, you better not. You
I
better
love
not.
it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Come on, Nina. Come on, Nina.
I
Nina.
don't even know. So, what am I saying?
I don't forget that word out. I'm trying to fit it in. I
Right.
think it worked as close as I could. But how can people find you, support you, sign up for these free flow paint
Yes.
nights and all that stuff?
So honestly, yes, you can sign up. Like I said, you can go for the next one coming up. It's New Year, freeflow.eventbrite.com. You could find me on Instagram, Facebook at Nina Alexis Rocks, or you could visit my website, ninaalexis.com, to find out how to work with me on your branding and graphic design needs.
Lovely. Harold, plug away. How can people find you, sign up for your services, so that they can become their own LeBron James?
I wanna get on it, but I feel like if I touch it, we're gonna talk for another 40 minutes. So I'm not gonna get on what he's talking about. So I'm gonna stay focused. So begreatguys.com, begreatguys.com. You can find me on IG at b_guys_be_great_guys. And you can also find us at Teachable. We just launched a weight loss course. It's a 4-week weight loss course where you learn the mental strength as well as your physical strength. And we go from learning how to not be intimidated in your kitchen or not being intimidated with your refrigerator. So yeah, that's been going really well for us, man. I mean, and just learning, going off of what I went through and just putting it in action to Steve's point, learning that I was enough and I can do it. So yeah, that's where you can find me, begreatguys.com or teachable at begreatguys.
Excellent.
Love it.
Don't
Steve,
you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
You know he will do it. If he doesn't do it,
LeBron, if you're watching, just see what I'm going through to support you, man. Help me. Steve, how can people find you and become the LeBron James in their own career?
What do you say? The Michael Jordan? Okay, all right. And you got to edit that out. Edit that out. I've listened to me. First of all, thank you, Walter, for hosting this platform. Thank you to Harold and Nina. Right? I mean, outstanding kind of like guests, and I appreciate you both so much. Your authenticity has shined through. I mean, I'm still a student. Doesn't matter. I wrote down a whole bunch of notes and all this other stuff. Harold, I want to get with you, offline about Teachable and all that other stuff. So I got like two courses in my head that I've been thinking about doing, and so I want to talk to you a little bit about that. One thing we always talk about with whether it's Worthy Leadership Group or it's the Worthy Podcast is that every leader is on a journey, whether they know it or not. But it's up to them to be an active participant in that journey so that they can be successful. And one of the only ways that you can do that is to understand where you are within that journey. So we have an assessment, and it's called the GEM assessment. The GEM stands for Grow, Empower, and Multiply. Those are the 3 phases of a leader's journey. And so we actually have an assessment, and it's at worthyleadershipgroup.com/now. And you can actually go ahead and take that assessment as well and kind of understand kind of where you are within your journey. But the other thing is that we do ask that you listen to the Worthy Podcast, where we've changed up our format this year, where at the beginning of the month we do our guest series, and then the 2 weeks in between we do micro podcasts, and that's really just me kind of providing some really good content for our listeners around something that they can put in action right after the episode. And then we got a lot of feedback around doing a book. I love reading. Now I'm doing a whole bunch of walks, and I'm either listening to podcasts or I'm doing Audible right now. And so I wanted to, I had a lot of listeners and also in the group asking about doing a book review. So the last week of each month, we do a book review on the podcast as well. Just kind of structured our whole thing differently. But I just appreciate all of you guys hearing all of your stories. You know, Harold, Nina, even Walter, even the LeBron James of podcasting. I'd rather be the GOAT of podcasting. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Harold is the LeBron James. No, you're not LeBron James, man. You are you Michael Jordan. Nina, you're Michael Jordan. Walter is LeBron James.
I will be LeBron James.
Maybe he's Dwayne Wade.
You know what? That's actually my favorite basketball player, so I will take that. Now, how can you find me and everything? Well, everyone, if you're watching, thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate you, because this is like, I mean, I could do this with nobody watching, but this whole thing started because I figured and was advised to share this with other people so they could join me on this journey. So definitely thank you all for tuning in. And Ian, definitely want to shout you out, all the way commenting throughout the whole time. Yeah, we're definitely turning that Buy Black Friday into a movement. Technically, you're the first person to turn it into a hashtag too, so I like it. I like it, Ian. That's definitely
I like that, Ian.
Yeah,
I like that too, man. Let me write that down.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh no, you're not feeling that, Steve. But yes, everyone, thank you very much for tuning in. Find me Boss Locks, BOSSLOCKS on all platforms. The K is important because it stands for knowledge of self. And as we move forward, just remember, think like how to, as Ian says, let that phoenix out. That's what we're doing the rest of this year and forever on. We're letting that phoenix out. We're going to shine. We're not going to hold back, because we are enough. We're going to be creating leverage to have just an incredible rest of our healthiest life ever. And
shine while we do it.
And shine while we do it.
Choose to shine. You got to choose to shine.
Everybody, choose to shine.
That's right.
Yeah. We can do it.
Thank you. Oh, yes, we can.
You can choose to shine like Michael Jordan. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry.
Yes, we could shine like Michael Jordan. We could also currently shine like LeBron James.
Currently.
I love it. I
just want to shout out Michael Jordan, though. I have this Muhammad Ali poster on my wall, but Michael Jordan's also been a huge influence in my life. Yes. I got a jersey, a Bulls jersey.
What about these great women out here, like Oprah, Beyonce?
Oprah.
Yes, shout out to Oprah, who started this show off. Putting that thing, the power manifestor.
I thought that was self-explanatory.
Michelle Obama. So yeah, we have some great women.
That's right.
100%. Oh man.
Right. There we go. Here we go, guys.
Yeah. There we go. Walter, come on now. Come on, man. You should come on now.
You want to start over? We can start over and just shout out women.
You should have. Yeah, man. Michelle Obama could have been above LeBron James.
Yeah. All right. Let's reset. Pretend every time you heard LeBron James, what you actually heard was Michelle Obama.
I do that already. Every time I talk to you.
Yeah.
like I edit it in my head.
I love it.
I love it.
What I do. I love it.
Yes, the women.
Yes, the women.
That's my mom too. So definitely,
we
got to show up properly. All right, y'all. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your night, everyone watching. Tune in to everything, because we're gonna, time just goes by. So Buy Black Friday is gonna come soon. Got more on the way. Check out the Boss Locks podcast. We dropped a new episode today. It's all about the white America's role in the advancement of our nation and everything like that. So it's an interesting one. I took a new spin on it. But yeah, we got more on the way. All of us here on the stage got a lot on the way. But thank you all, and we'll see y'all soon.
Have a good one, guys.
Ooh, women important. Women. Oh,
women are important.
We're gonna end with that. We're gonna end in that.
Ooh,
shining
I like it.
There you go.
Actually, we're gonna end like this: shining our resident.